Coordinated, Episode 300, November 2025, Monthly Action Item. Greetings, AP Coordinators. I'm Karli Suge, School Counselor and AP Coordinator.
And I'm Abby McCrate, also a school counselor and, of course, an AP Coordinator. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday, November 3rd, 2025, and Karli and I are here to share what we're working on this month.
I don't think we have to say this, but it's November, the month we've all been waiting for. The month when we can put a big check mark next to order AP exams on our to-do lists.
I am so ready to do that, Karli.
So ready. Because here's the thing. Once November 14th passes, we can take a second to breathe a big sigh of relief. So let's talk today about last-minute preparations, meeting our deadline, covering all our bases, checking and double-checking the details, and getting coordinated.
Good morning, Karli, my friend.
Good morning, Abby.
You know, I am always happy to see you, but today I'm feeling extra giddy. Giddy, you might ask? Yes, giddy. I'm feeling happy about connecting because, listen, we are taking on November, and that means that we are about to have our AP exam orders signed, sealed, and delivered. Well, okay, so the delivery part, that doesn't come until next May, but you know what I mean.
I do. Woohoo! Cue the confetti.
We have worked so hard. We have cross-checked so many rosters. We have followed up with so many students. It's time to party. Well, correction, almost time to party. Before we do, let's review some last-minute things before the final ordering deadline that we're doing. But then, let's celebrate. Party, Karli? Can I interest you in a party?
You do not have to ask me twice. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Okay, so one of the things I find myself doing this time of year is going to one of my favorite and perhaps lesser-known resources, and that is the AP Coordinator Checklist on pages 15 through 21 of the AP Coordinator's Manual, Part 1. Do you know about this cool feature of the manual?
I do, Abby, and I love it. So let's talk a little bit more about it.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, I just did this the other day, in fact. So the manual lays out these start of the school year tasks for us on page 15. So what I did was I referenced that list and just made sure everything for start of the school year was complete. Following that checklist relieves so much stress for me. I know that the coordinator's manual won't let me down. So if I can check off the boxes, then I'm good. It's time to submit and it's time to relax.
That is such a great resource. Maybe we can review the items on there with our listeners, and then we can talk about where to go from there.
Awesome. Okay, so let's review that list. First, we need to have completed our setup of AP registration and ordering, which includes submitting the AP participation form and creating class sections.
That's right. Check. Second, we should make sure that any new AP teachers have completed the course audit process and that our course audit administrator has renewed previously authorized courses, preferably by October 15th.
Okay, great. Check and check. Third, we should meet with our SSD coordinator to make sure we know which students are already approved for accommodations, and so we're aware of students who are expected to be approved. Now, I should say the deadline for the SSD coordinator to submit all requests for accommodations is not until January 16th, 2026, but it's important to be in conversation with our SSD coordinator and to be aware of what special exam materials we need to order for this year.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And the last thing we should make sure we do before the final ordering deadline is a final check of our rosters to make sure all students have joined their class sections. If we find any students who haven't joined, well, it's time to track them down.
That's right. And maybe consider emailing their guardian with a note about the $40 per exam fee for late orders. I find that reaching out to both student and parent with that information usually gets my last few students into their class sections.
I absolutely agree. Also, Abby, where can we go if we need more help preparing to submit our exam orders?
Well, I am so glad you asked because Chat with a Coordinator is available on Friday, November 7th and Friday, November 14th. The link to register is in the show notes.
Yes, that will be so helpful. Okay, Abby, it sounds like we're ready to submit. Let's press that submit button one final time by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on November 14th. And let's give ourselves a hand.
Go us! Go AP coordinators! And you know, Karli, being an AP coordinator is a busy job. After I've met the final ordering deadline, though, I feel I can relax a little bit. Things slow down.
That's right. We can just click submit and chill.
Mm-hmm. Now, I suppose if people want to look ahead a little bit, is there anything you might sort of calmly turn your attention to after your exam order is submitted? I know some people like to use downtime to get ahead, so I'm wondering if we have a suggestion or two for our fellow coordinators about what they could do now that they've crossed this big milestone of submitting their orders.
That's a really good point. And there's a couple things that I'm immediately thinking about. First of all, I need to talk to my administrators about digital planning for this school year. Obviously, we did it last year, but just kind of prepping ahead of time, power cords, kind of talking about placement of extension cords and things like that. And then my second thing that comes to mind is proctors, everyone's favorite subject. So I think getting my interns and people ready to proctor, or kind of floating the seed of who can proctor this year, is something that I know I'm immediately thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, that's similar to what I'm thinking about too, just this need for just sort of preparatory steps, right, for the actual testing. So we have nearly 100 more exams happening at my school this year. Because we're offering a couple of new AP classes and because some of our classes are bigger than usual. So those are all great things for sure.
Yeah.
But I've also lost access to my favorite testing room. It was divided up and converted into a classroom and a conference room to make space for those students.
All
right?
this growth. Yeah.
So I'm going to take the next few weeks, I think, to have conversations with my principal and assistant principals about what rooms are going to work best now for the majority of our exams. I think I'll have to do some planning ahead about how to manage the noise of passing periods. It's probably going to be more of an issue in new testing spaces, like maybe I'll have to use classrooms or our gym.
That reminds me, I need to make a note to speak to our custodial staff about mowing the lawns. I feel like mowing the lawns and landscaping is always an issue that I run into on Wednesdays every test week. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Well, it's also just comforting to know that that's a universal sort of AP coordinator issue, right? The landscaping, and then sometimes we forget to turn the bells off, so the bells ring on the first day, you know. So it's really helpful to talk about these things now when we have a little bit more there's not this sense of urgency about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for brainstorming and thinking ahead with me, Abby. And thank you to all AP coordinators for the work you've done to get to November. We see you checking those boxes, tracking down students, sharing your knowledge, and being, coordinated. Thank you, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's show. We look forward to continuing to share with you what we're working on each month.
Yes, this is a great way for us to stay on track and feel supported in our work as AP coordinators. We appreciate sharing ideas with you all.
Because, as we know, no one does it better. AP coordinators, we are truly good as gold.
And maybe I just don't know. I'll say it over and over and over again till I believe it's so. I'm good as gold.
Hey, AP coordinators, do you have questions about submitting your exam order?
Or ensuring students have enrolled in class sections and indicated their exam decisions?
Well, then have we got the thing for you.
If you have these questions or others, join us for Chat with a Coordinator.
There is still time to have all your questions answered. Register today.
Chat with a Coordinator is currently running through November 14th. Join us every Friday via Zoom for free.
Sessions are 1 hour in length, and you, AP coordinators, set the agenda by asking any questions that you have or sharing best practices.
At 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a chat dedicated to brand new AP coordinators.
And at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a topic-specific chat. Topics such as score reports, AP registration and ordering, and more will be covered during these chats.
Join one or stay for multiple. Sign up for every Friday.
The registration link is in the show notes. We look forward to seeing you.